This is UFC's Holly Holm, and you're listening to CBS Sports Radio.
This is Outside the Cage with your host, Ike Feldman. Pete Hop. UFC Brooklyn was a couple weeks ago, but we love to go back to it because it was a nice open to the ESPN era. And joining us right now, who was in the building, Eliot Marshall at Fire Marshall 205. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was. I was got to be part of history, right? Like, not that I'm standing in the corner holding a water bottle. So.
Hey, but in reality, you have seen a lot. You're a veteran of this game. You're a veteran of the UFC. You've seen this sport grow. Have you noticed a difference over the past few years in more and more corners that you're in? Have you seen the difference?
Have I seen the difference? I think the top of the game these days is much better than what the top of the game was when I was fighting. Like the champions, the top five, that is definitely growing. I think there is a little problem, not a problem, but and I get it. They do so many shows now that they need more fighters, right? You can't have 150 guys total for a show, every weekend basically. So the bottom is a little, the barrier of entry is easier, but that's to be expected, right?
No, I hear you on that, but let me ask you a question though, because the one thing that we always talk about, we just had John Morgan a little while ago too. The ESPN era starts out with a champ versus champ fight, and it seems like
right.
that's been the trend the past couple years. They start with the Conor McGregor. There's still a potential John Jones, Daniel Cormier fight in the future. The champ versus champ issue is that it takes away from the other fighters that are trying to come up into the sport, because you're highlighting only a select few of fighters, and it's harder to shine spotlight on these younger fighters. Am I right?
And it clogs the divisions, right? It just clogs the divisions because the champ's only going to fight so many times a year because you're the champ. Like that's a hard thing to ask a champion. So if you're the champion of two divisions, how many times are you going to, what happens? What does that division do? And
make a lot of money.
Right?
It's definitely a selfish move.
Yeah, but it's not that easy to it's not that easy to fight again. The only reason that you fight a lot is because you're either crazy like Cowboy, or two, you need the money. And
true.
If you don't need the money, then you got to let your body rest. You can only be in that peak performance state for so long.
That's fair. I mean, we saw a peak performance from your boy a couple Saturdays ago. Corey Sandhagen got it done against Mario Batista, the UFC on ESPN Plus big card. Man, dude, that was a scrap. I seen like a pile driver from like the Undertaker days. That was fantastic, man. How was Corey's camp? And obviously he looked fantastic on fight night. How's he feeling post-fight too?
Corey's special. Corey's very, very special. He just when you say like that athlete that has it, he just has it. He goes in there and he murders. He murders. I personally have, I've never quite seen anything like him before. So he's a killer.
That's high praise, man. And now, obviously, we just saw a lot of the ground aspect of it. Are you saying he's got really good stand-up skills as well?
Well, look at his other fights. If you go back and look at his other fights, he's murks guys. Look at that fight. He got touched like once, and the kid was just missing and blinking. Like every time Corey would touch him, he'd blink. He was like, "What the fuck's that?" Because it's one thing to be able to bite down when you're like, "Okay, here I go, I'm going to get hit." It's another thing you're like, "Whoa, what the fuck was that?" And it just makes you flinch because you don't see where it was coming from or the angle you weren't ready for. It was in that half beat. And Corey has that, he has that Anderson Silva ability. That's what Anderson did. That's how he knocks people out with jabs. Because they weren't ready to be hit, right? And then it's like, whoa, and then boom, down they are.
All right, I'm sold, man. He's 3 in a row.
If you say Anderson Silva, I'm totally fucking sold. What are you, crazy?
Yes. Tell me a little more, man. Is he going to fight 3 times in 2019? When do you expect a title fight? 2020? Is this kid humble? Is he asking for it? Is he chasing Sean Shelby?
Is he humble? What do you know about him? Do you know where he works?
I just saw his last
I
fight,
know.
man.
Can I tell you something?
No.
Elliot, can I tell you something?
Hold on. Yeah.
Brendan Schaub talked about him and said, dude, look
Yeah.
out for this guy. This guy is a beast.
Uh-huh.
So that's why
you asked if he's a beast for sure, but you asked if he's humble, Is he humble? He works 3 days a week still for free. He doesn't even get paid. He goes and helps kids with disabilities and that have been abused by their parents, taken out of the home.
Wow, we did not know that. No, tell us
He
more,
does
man.
not need to do that, right? Like, he does not need to do that.
That's
He
deep A
teaches
stuff.
Classes still. Yeah, he teaches classes still. He doesn't need to teach classes, right?
Well, no,
he
obviously.
teaches classes because he wants to give back to people, and he's a true martial artist. He understands what martial arts is all about.
What does he teach?
He teaches kickboxing and jiu-jitsu.
Oh wow, nice.
At high altitude martial arts, Cody Donovan Christian Allen School, which is one of our sister schools, one of our affiliates.
Amazing, man. And obviously, when you say it, you're saying like, so it's the combination of the outside the cage stuff and the inside the cage. Like, he's truly going to be, because Conor McGregor, man, a lot of people didn't see behind the scenes. Like, he wasn't a bad guy. He did a lot of it for the show, but he got on a lot of people's nerves. Corey seems like a really, I don't know, respectable guy. And you're telling me this story. So you're really seeing possibly championship fight at the end of this year? I'm trying to push you towards this.
No, we don't want it. We don't want it at the end of the year. We'd like it in 2020. We'd like it in 2020. Look, if it comes, we're not going to, no one's saying no. No one's saying no. But you see what happens sometimes when guys get title fights too early, in their UFC go. It's, they kind of, I'm a Cody guard. I'm friends with TJ Dillashaw. Obviously, I coached him, and I've come to like Cody Garbrandt. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Cody after these 2 losses. So it's the fight game isn't very forgiving or care about anybody. So you want to nurture that fighter a little bit. You don't want to just that's something. You asked me about it. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to talk about I wanted to talk about Cody and TJ for a second, but go to the it fact. I'll come back to Cody and TJ.
You asked me about it. No, when I say he has it, what it is the ridiculous ability and practice that people can see. But then when the lights shine, it gets even greater. That's it. When you're like, man, that kid could be a champion. But I think people have said that about a lot of people based on practice. But what happens when the lights are on? What happens on fight night? That ability to perform just as well, if not even better. That's what it is.
Again, we're being joined by Eliot Marshall. You mentioned Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw, and I have to selfishly say they're 2 of my favorite fighters in the sport. I love them.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about them, but they both, and they're different personalities for sure. And not saying that the Ultimate Fighter definitely didn't help hype up that first fight a little bit more. But the one thing that TJ mentioned about Cody was that he never adjusted in that second fight between those two. Cody.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Cody's a smart man, but he wants to brawl. He wants to fight. He wants to throw down. And do you think that there were issues going to the first fight with him physically, which led to him not adjusting to the second fight?
No, I think his emotions got the best of him. I think he got overrun with emotion, which fighting is an emotional game. So and you could see it in even more so in the second fight, right? TJ didn't if you watch the fight, TJ didn't do anything special. TJ just stayed inside of a wide right hand and threw his own 3 times in a row because Cody was Cody was hitting the A button. He's like, no, I'm just gonna hit A. I'm gonna hit A.
Exactly.
It's a video game. It wasn't. TJ did not do anything special in that fight, right? He just was in. He had the inside position, and Cody did it 3 times in a row. And he hit him once, he hit him twice, and the third one he knocked him out. Right? That wasn't. Look, I'm no champion. I like both of them, but that wasn't rocket science.
You're a jiu-jitsu champion. Let's not get it twisted, my friend.
Yeah, but I'm no UFC champion, and I don't like to criticize other. I'm not in the business of criticizing other athletes when they make mistakes. I think that's.
Yeah, but you're not. But that's not
where we could do better.
But that's not criticizing. That's breaking it down. Like that's analytical stuff.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
No, for sure. And so that's what happened in that second fight. Now the first fight, there was a great adjustment made by TJ in between rounds. Because he definitely not even with if you take out the knockdown at the end for Cody, before that Cody was winning that whole round. There was a very good adjustment that Dwayne told TJ in the corner in between the first and the second round that changed the fight.
It was amazing, man. It was a rivalry. I can't wait for Cody to get back. I think he's facing Pedro Munoz. I'm not sure exactly when, but in UFC 235.
The Vegas card, March 2nd.
Yeah, 235.
Yeah, March 2nd.
Again, we're being joined by Eliot Marshall, former UFC fighter, on Twitter at FireMarshall205, co-owner of Easton BJJ out in Colorado. Had an amazing role with Professor Jeff out there. It was awesome. Loved the gym, loved the facility.
That's the man, yeah.
Dude, you fought Vinny Magalhaes. You got the win. You see this guy fighting for $1 million on New Year's Eve. Did you have any itch to get it back in there? Did PFL reach out to you for the season one? What did you get to watch that fight where you think like, damn man, I should be in there?
No man, I'm a happy man. I don't do anything in my life for money. So yeah, going to fight again for $1 million is not even on my radar.
Ever?
Not because it's not who I am, And I think the greatest individual I ever met in my life so far is Renzo Gracie, and he has a set of core values that he follows, and I think that's what makes him so great. And he like a code of honor, and he never goes against it, And when you start to go against it, in my opinion, when you do things for like money. Just for money, like literally for money and fame. That's the only reason that I would go fight for $1 million, for $1 million. But, that could fuck up my whole family, if I had to do that tournament.
It's true.
Like the relationship with my wife and my kids. Like, man, let me tell you what, we were just talking about TJ, so we'll talk about TJ. Let me tell you what TJ's kid is never going to give a fuck about is whether his dad is the champion of the UFC or not. Does not give a rat's ass. What he cares about is if he's going to be a good dad. So if TJ makes $10 million, right? And I'm not saying I have no evidence that he's a good or a bad dad, so don't take it that way, right? But if TJ made $10 million, never lost his 135-pound belt, goes down as the greatest bantamweight champion of all time, good for TJ. If he's a shitty dad, his kid's going to fucking hate him. Not going to care.
Yeah, I don't care how many Fortnite systems, right? Yeah, if he's not there for dinner time is it true what they say, man? We hear it all the time that it is a selfish sport, and like especially if you got to travel, like I heard Woodley jumps around to 3 different camps. Obviously, TJ bounces around from Denver to Cali. I mean, it really is a selfish sport, right?
There's no other way to do it, man.
I agree.
It's very hard. It's very hard. It's very hard to do any other way. And once you start adding kids to the mix, fuck.
Yes.
So for me to just drop my, you asked like about the PFL. For me to just drop my life and commit to the PFL for a year, fuck that.
Dude, I got to be honest, kids make it tough no matter what, man. I have a 17-month-old at home, a 17-month-old at home. I have a couple of a 5 and an 8-year-old, soon to be 9, and it's a handful no matter what you do. They take up your time, whether it's extra time or just your time. It is your time. You don't have it. It's your kid's time.
Yeah.
So I totally get that.
Yeah, and but there's just no. But they want you. That's what they want. They don't want your money. Like when you start to think about, I'm doing this for my kids or yada yada, like they don't give a flying fuck. They want. I'm sorry. Can I curse like that?
You can say
too late.
Hey, Ellie,
right.
You're allowed to say flying on air. It's okay.
All right. Oh, okay. Perfect. They could care less. They want you to be at home and play Fortnite with them, not buy them Fortnite.
Right. No, I agree.
That's true.
But the one thing that you've said, and you stated that it's you're humble. Fuck $1 million. I don't need $1 million. I need my family.
Whoa, watch your language.
I know. Sorry about that. I won't say $1 million.
Sorry. Okay.
But that being said, though, turn of this sport going to ESPN. It is flashy now. We do see Greg Hardy's, co-maining events. We see Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor headline cards. We see the dollar signs that they made, $86 million for MMA. How do you keep your fighters humble? You say you come from the Gracie family, and that is, you talk about respect. The Gracies, you say that name, there's instant respect. But how do you keep your fighters in line with that? Is it just something that if you're going to come into my gym, this is what you have to do?
We have a set of core values for the Easton Training Center, and we don't move on them, We do not move on those core values. So hold on one sec. My dog's about to lose it. Buster, come. No. So yeah. So if you want to be
Buster
a member,
goes by those core values.
if you want to be a member of Easton Training Center, then you're going to have to do it this way, and we only have guys that do it the way, our way. We don't, and that's fine. It doesn't have to work for anybody else. That's great. You might be very successful. And man, that's cool. Good for you. You might be a great fighter. Great, amazing, but everyone doesn't get to come to my house and have dinner.
I like that.
It's open. The door's open. But my wife likes people to take the shoes off. So when you walk in the house, don't fuck with my wife. Take your shoes off.
Or you're having dinner in the doghouse with Buster.
Or you're having dinner in the doghouse with Buster. Exactly.
Again, we're being joined by Eliot Marshall, former UFC fighter. I love that on Twitter you put dad first before UFC vet. That obviously I recognize what you're saying about the core values of the kid, respecting, potentially we're just using a hypothetical fighter, respecting the guy for what he does at home, not what he does in the cage. I hope Conor is like a great dad. I hope it's not just for social media. But Eliot, talking about you, how was the transition from being a UFC fighter at the top level of MMA in the freaking world, the globe, and then transitioning to a coach and to a gym owner? We see a lot of fighters. I mean, Chuck Liddell has had a rough go of it lately. I didn't like how it looked. I understand that he still had the passion and the drive to go. I understand him chasing it. For you, man, how was that transition? It seems like it was easy, man. You seem like you got it all together.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that on the outside, but my life wasn't put on blast like Chuck's life was either,
True.
So I wasn't the champ, How was it for me? It was, it seemed okay, but I had what I like to call, 3 years after so, a mental breakdown / spiritual awakening, about some things that I had to change in my life. I had to find some core values for my life, like what are my rules and, that I follow for me and my family and things like that. And it took me, during that time, it was a rough time. It wasn't fun. It wasn't easy. Like, and it had nothing to do with like money or finances or like my wife wasn't leaving me. Like my kids were healthy, like nothing like that. Just, like the devil comes to say hi sometimes, and when he does, you better have built skills during your life to be able to handle your dance with the devil.
Wow. Is that, we hear that all the time. I'm glad we're hearing a lot more often, like Max Holloway, Tyson Fury, of talking about the mental illness. We hear it on our end with some football or basketball players. Is that what inspired you to make the Gospel of Fire?
So that's yeah. So I have the Gospel of Fire in my podcast, and also in my book that comes out. The book comes out in 2 weeks, a little less. And yeah, man, people got to see that. We have enough screaming about how great we all are. And when you're not, and it's okay that you're not sometimes. Just be aware that you're not. We're not all great all the time. Say, okay, I got to work on this. And like, this is what martial arts teaches. It doesn't like these chokes and these kicks and these arm bars and these championship belts, man, they don't mean shit. Like, look, everyone's screaming how George, okay, before the Bisping fight, George wasn't that great. If George ever fights again, he's not going to be that great. Anderson's not that great right now. John Jones is a fucking cheater. DC's a fat fuck, right? Like, this is just coming for every champion, right? This is coming for every champion. So what does it all mean? You better be able that the skills of martial arts are here to help us deal with our lives. So you better be able to do that. That's what the point of all of this is. And sure, yeah, it's great that we all get to make money off of it. You have the Conors and the Khabibs, making hundreds of millions, like you guys were just saying. But I know a lot of rich people that aren't real happy.
No, that's true. Fair. Elliot, tell us where the book. What you said the book's getting released in 2 weeks, and where can we get it?
Amazon.com. For the first 3 days, it's going to be on sale for 99 cents. And then after that, it will go up to its regular price of like $9 or something. But yeah, so it'll be on sale on Amazon and then hard paper copy and e-Kindle book, things like that. So yeah, it will be on my website. There will be a link to it. So yeah, all that stuff. But that's what the Gospel of Fire is. The Gospel of Fire is we got to do hard stuff. We have to have honest conversations with ourselves. Do hard stuff, like go into the fire, like. As soon as you know that you're scared and you think it's going to be hard, like that should be your trigger to be like, oh, got to go do that shit.
That's awesome, Elliot. We're looking forward to that. My final question is, you had a previous history with Ryan Bader, who recently became champ in Bellator.
Champ. Yeah, for sure.
Tell us about, your experience with him in The Ultimate Fighter, and just him as a person. Tell us your experience, and if it seems like he's deserving of everything and more that comes his way.
Man, I don't on The Ultimate Fighter. He was great. We were on opposite teams. We actually fought. He was he obviously he won. He won by unanimous decision. He's a good guy. I don't know much about him. He seems like is doing some things in his life that are positive. So man, more power to him. I don't want I'll never wish anybody failure or ill will. So. I want success for everybody. We got to help each other come up rather than push each other down.
I agree, man. High tide raises all ships. Seriously, there's too much negativity, man.
Too much negativity. Just a little, and it just stems from a little personal insecurity. For some reason, we can't. We think it's there's only one cookie at the table. And I don't think that's the case personally. I think we can make some more cookies so that everybody can have a seat at the table and enjoy.
Amazing, man. I hope they're oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of oatmeal raisin, but to each their own.
Damn it.
To each their own.
Amazing, Elliot.
To each their own.
Seriously, appreciate the time, man. I know we said 15, possibly 20 minutes. We've been rambling now for close to 30 minutes. My last thing, I really appreciate the time, man. I really appreciate your time. I forget the young kid who's working the front desk, but Easton BJJ out in Colorado, amazing service, amazing gym, amazing facility. I only got Matt herpes for one day. No, I'm just kidding. But Elliot, real quickly, can you tell us what's going on with Neil Magny and Alistair Overeem, what they got next?
Yeah, I believe Alistair has a fight in Russia, right? Volkov. So we're preparing for that. I think he's the main event. They're the main event. So that's happening. Neil Magny, we're just working on things, that was a tough loss, right? That was a tough loss. Obviously people will watch, and see that, so you have to
on
go
the
back
road
to the
too.
Board
on the road.
Yeah, man. Yeah, in Argentina at 3:30 a.m. local time fighting, so that's not very easy, right? So, but no excuses, right? We signed up for this shit. You never make, there's no excuses. It just is what it is.
Yeah, no question.
So what do? You pick yourself up, you go into the fire, and you go, okay, I'm going to get better.
Love it.
Eliot Marshall, great stuff, man. Thank you so much, and you're more than welcome to come back on again to promote your books or whatever you want to promote.
When you're in New York, we got to get you in studio, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, let's go. I come to New York. I told you, I love Henzo, man. So I come to New York every quarter. The Blue Basement. There is no place in the world like the Blue Basement.
Beautiful.
If Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump had to go sit in the Blue Basement, we'd have a deal signed for the rest of his the rest of his term. We'd be good, man. Because when you go to New York and you're in that place, fighting is hard enough, right? By itself, you take two people who are the same and have them fight, or train jiu-jitsu. It's a difficult thing for them to get along every single day. You add the New York City to it, like some gay transvestite that's black and Asian and, some rich white banker, and you put them all in the same place and fight, and now you got to get along. Shit, man. And they do. And they compromise. and they figure shit out. So, hey, I know the answer. Get Trump, get Pelosi, give them a gi, fuck them up a little bit, let them fuck each other up a little bit, and then we'll be good, man. You want to make America great again? The blue basement's the answer.
I love it, man. Channeling the inner Jersey.
Hey, Elliot,
Go.
I have one final question for you because now I've been thinking about this for a while, okay? And I'm being so fucking serious with this question because my brother is a cop. He's an authority figure and stuff like that with the do you think it is important to, whether or not you're for or against guns, but the world that we live in today, we see that, that whether it's cops versus blacks or whatever you want to say, there's an issue right now with cops and stuff like that, police officers. If they trained in mixed martial arts more, if it was something that was demand, like, hey, you need to at least take a course once or twice a week while you're in uniform, and take a day off of work, you have to train in this. Do you think that would help, alleviate some of the gun violence in the world?
Look, this is a twofold issue. Let's talk about it from the personal safety issue first, with people and their guns. Okay, I'm all for it. If you want your gun, have at it. It should be harder to get than it is a pilot's license, in my opinion. That means you really want it. Okay, I think it should be. It's not, but that's what it should be. In my opinion. Now, look, if you think that you're going to defend yourself with your gun because you go out to the range and you can shoot the target under no stress, you are fucking crazy. You are absolutely batshit crazy. Because stress adds everything. Man, you know how good my jab cross is in the mirror? It's fucking solid.
Yeah.
I went 3-3 in the UFC. I'll knock every mirror out in the fucking world. But there's no stress going on, right? There's no stress. You don't have any added stress to that. So add some stress to it, and you're gonna spray all over the place with your I can shoot a gun issue. You have to practice your gun every day, just like you have to get on the mat and practice the mat every day. That's how you get good, right? Now that's the cop answer. You want these cops to not shoot people, black, white, whoever, I don't care, whatever, Get them on the mat. Get them getting their ass kicked, okay? That builds real confidence. That builds, again, you have to learn how to compromise and talk to people, okay, and get along when you get fucked up all the time. That builds a camaraderie and a caring for another actual human being. So you won't, and you learn how to defend yourself. So your instinct won't be to grab your gun when you're scared.
Dude,
right?
it's true.
So that's all this is. That's all it is. People are scared. They don't know what to do. They have this gun on their waist, and then boom, out it comes.
Dude, it's true. My best friend's boxed a little. He's grappled a little. He says it's literally his quote. He's like, it's the pussy cops that go for the gun first. He's like, you should be able to approach confidently and not get all worked up because it's a little stressful situation, as you're saying.
That's your job. Your job is to deal with stressful situations. Right? Like I get it. That guy committed a crime. I 100% get it. That doesn't mean you die. Sure, he should have put his hands at 10-2 and he didn't. I get it. But this is your job. This is what you have to deal with. The answer is not shooting these people. The answer, is not, sure, maybe they deserve to go to jail. Yes. But that's why we have jail. That's why we have a court system. You are not the judge and the jury. And I get it. Your life is on the line. So actually care that your life is on the line. Be in shape, first of all.
True,
right?
True.
Be in shape, okay? If you're not in shape, you should not be able to be on the street because how the fuck are you going to do anything other than pull your gun? And two, actually know how to fight. Actually know how to control somebody without having to shoot them or just beat them with your billy club. Control them with your hands. It's a hard thing, right? It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But, you signed up for a tough job.
No, 100%. Elliot, dude,
Amazing.
We should start our own podcast about politics and government stuff and
Let's
just
go.
real world stuff because you can do everything. You can do it all, man. And we really do appreciate the time.
What do you
bro.
want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the transgender issue? You want to talk about Trump and the Nazis?
Dude, in
You
studio,
know, which
in
issue you want to talk
studio.
about?
Let's
When
take
you
this
come in the studio,
all right.
we'll break it down for an hour. We'll give you an hour window. We'll just go at it.
All right, I'll let you guys know the next time I come to the Blue Basement in the city, man. You know?
Amazing.
And then afterwards, we'll go get some fucking pizza.
Let's
go.
fucking do it. I love it. Elliot Marshall, thank you
All
so
right,
much for
guys.
the time, man. And
All
bring
right, guys,
Buster.
have a good day. I don't know if you want me to bring Buster, man. I got this purebred pit bull that I bought that I have from a breeder, and I love him to death because he's ride or die with me, you know, and my kids. But man, he acts like he's a rescue sometimes, and I'm like, man, you little fucker. But I love him anyway, right? Because he's mine, and he will kill somebody for my kids if he ever thought they were in trouble. So you don't want me to bring Buster.
All right, leave him home. All right. Elliot Marshall, everybody. Thanks
All right,
again for
guys.
the time.
Take care, guys. All right, bye.